Hello and welcome to another episode from the Costa Car Trader. I'm Chris, and in this video I'm going to be sharing a few little tips and tricks on how you can maintain your car during this coronavirus lockdown. So stay tuned and we'll get started. So the first tip I want to tell you about is the fuel. Now, you've probably all seen these apocalyptic films like Mad Max and Walking Dead and things like that, and it shows people, they find a car after so many years. Oh, it's got some fuel. They take the fuel and they stick in the car. That doesn't work. That's like a Hollywood myth. Fuel, petrol, actually has a life, and it only lasts a couple of months. Now, when you put the fuel in your car, it starts to build up condensation in the tank, and a few impurities build up, and it becomes like a slimy, dark substance, and it's no good. You can't run your engine on it. So if your car is going to be on lockdown like the rest of us, and you're not going to be able to drive it for a month or more, then the best course of action is to keep your tank as full as possible, because then there's less room for condensation to build up in the tank, and it will make your fuel last a bit longer. Now, this only applies to petrol or gasoline cars. If you have a diesel is oil based, and it doesn't happen so much. It can last like years, whereas petrol can only last a few months. Okay, another tip that I want to share with you is to leave your window open a little bit. Leave it ajar. Now, it's not going to be possible for everybody. If you leave your car on the street, or if it's out exposed to rain and things like that, then not great. But if you've got your car under cover, or if it's in a dry country, or even if it's in a garage, leave your window open a little bit. You know, I've got it open quite a bit here, but a bit less is probably best, because you may find that you get some insects getting in the car, or even like a rat or something can get in there, and you don't want that. So leave your window open ajar, and it helps keep the air fresh in your car, and it prevents mold buildup and a few other things. So that's tip number 2. Don't leave the handbrake on your car if your car's going to be stopped for a month. If you've got an automatic, put it in park, keep the handbrake off. If you've got a manual, leave it in gear and keep the handbrake off, because if you have the handbrake on for too long, it can actually seize up and it's really difficult to take it off. So if you're worried that your car's on a bit of an incline or something like that, then an easy solution is to get any particular stone. I've just got this from the garden, and just stick it behind the wheel, and it works as a chock, and it will stop your car from actually rolling anywhere. So that's tip number 3. Leave your handbrake off and put a chock behind your car to stop it rolling anywhere. Tip number 4 is the battery. Now, if your car is going to be sat there for some time, it will drain the battery. If you've got an alarm or other electronic devices in the car, like a clock or something like that, it will drain this. And then after a couple of weeks, if you try to start the engine, it's not going to start. Your battery will be flat. Now, there's 2 options you can get around this. One of them is to disconnect the battery so it's not being drained. But the second one is to start your car every few days, like every 3 days, every 4 days. Just get in the car, start the engine, let it run for 5 minutes. 5 minutes should be enough. Just let the engine warm up a little bit, and it will recharge the battery. It won't go flat, and it's also a good thing because it circulates the oil in your engine and the coolant, so that doesn't cause any problems in the future. So there we go. Tip number 4: start your engine every few days. Okay, this is tip number 5. This one is more for people who've got diesel engines, the more modern diesel engines, that is. And they have what is called a diesel particle filter. And this works by cleaning all the emissions that come out the exhaust, but it only works when it's at a certain temperature. So if you're going on a reasonably long distance, it works perfectly great. But if you're only going to like the local shops or the supermarket just down the road, it's not going to be getting to the correct temperature and working properly, and this can actually cause clogging problems and an expensive maintenance problem. So if you are going to use that car, you know, try and drive a little bit longer than what you can, or if you have another car like a petrol car, use that as an alternative and leave the diesel on the driveway for when this lockdown is over. Okay then, tip number 6 is about the tyres. If your car is left for a while in the same spot, all the weight is on the bottom of the tyre, and it can lead to a flat spot which misshapes the tyre permanently. And if that happens, you may end up having to replace all your tyres on the car. So an easy solution is every few days or maybe a week, move your car a little bit forward or a little bit back. You know, you don't have to drive it anywhere, just move the car so the weight shifts around the tyre. And that is tip number 6. So tip number 7, it's not like a necessity, this one. It is, you know, it's beneficial to you, it's beneficial to the car. And that is, while we're on lockdown, treat your car to a really nice clean. You know, give the outside a brilliant clean. Get a cloth, clean in places that you never normally clean. Do the interior, give it a complete, absolute clean. And then after this lockdown, when we're all allowed out and you're just dying to jump in your car and drive it, it's going to seem like a brand new car. You know, if you've got nothing to do on lockdown, give your car a little treat. So there we go. That is our 7 tips for maintaining your car during the coronavirus lockdown. I hope you find these tips helpful. Anybody can do it. It's easy to apply, you know. And then when all this is over, your car will be ready and you can drive it without any problems whatsoever. So if you like this video, then hit the subscribe button and the little bell as well, so that you don't miss a single video, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Take care.